Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's still a little bit too cool to do anything outdoors, so today I figured I'd bring you inside, back in the shop, and I will show you how I make these small wavy flags. So let's get started. Okay guys, to save time, I did not film cutting this down. I started with just a 1x6x8, and I ripped it down to 3/4 inch strips, and I cut 7 pieces at 11 inches, and then I cut 6 pieces at 18 inches, and then the union I just cut that at 7 inches. Right here I'm just kind of laying out where I'm going to put my waves. Gives me an idea. Doesn't have to be exact, just kind of gives me an idea so that I know they're flowing. This is the flat disc that I use. And I use just a 36 grit flap disc from Harbor Freight. As you can see, I'm just going through and I am just kind of sanding it out where I put those red lines, and that will just give me the deepest waves. And then I'll go through and then I sand everything down with 120 grit and sand and sand and sand. Here I'm just making sure that the rolls where the waves aren't too sharp. And then my next step is I will get my torch out, and then I'll start torching where the waves are, because that kind of gives the flag some depth. And the torch, I know people ask me about it. I will link the torch that I'm using in the description. So that way you guys will have it. As you see, I just go through and I kind of burn a little bit darker where the waves are, and then I'll kind of go over the whole flag and just give it a quick burn. And then once I'm done with that, I hit it with 120 once again, and I just want to hit the high spots of the flag. I don't want to get into the waves. Right here I'm just marking my strips 1 through 13. That way, once I start staining them and go to lay it back out, there's no guesswork in trying to line the waves up. I know the sequence that they go in after I'm done staining them all. I use Minwax stain, oil-based. I use the Simply White, Barn Red, and then just their navy. I'm not going to link that just because it's pretty easy to know what that is. And then here I just start sanding the red, or staining the red. I didn't film, but I already got the white done in this clip. Now I'm just going to hit the union with some blue. Once again, that's the navy blue. And if it depends on if you're going to carve your stars or paint your stars. I carve all mine. So you got to kind of be careful of how much stain you put on your unions, because the deeper you let it soak in, the longer it's going to take to carve it out. And if you go the real wet soak, you'll have a hard time getting some of that stain out without going real deep. So you don't have to stain it a whole bunch. I just make sure it's blue. And there it is after I have it stained, kind of laid back out where it's going to go. The stencil, I will put a link in. That comes in a kit. This one is a 5x7. And since I haven't ripped this down to size yet, I just make sure that you line your stencil up at the bottom. Then I just start carving my stars, and I use a Dremel 105 bit for these small stars. There it is with the stars carved in it. Here I'm just ripping down some 1/4 inch Luan. That's what I use as my backer board. And I start out ripping these down 9 3/4 by 18 1/4. Then I just make sure that the nicest side is down. before I do my glue up. These I do use Titebond 2 on. I don't use 3 because I don't expect these small flags to be outdoors. Most people just display them in their offices or living room or something. So when I'm laying the stripes out, I don't know if you can be able to tell this in the video or not, but I put the bottom as tight as I can, and then I pull the top down. That kind of makes sense, and that's to keep the glue from being squished up between the stripes. It's just less cleanup when you're done. Here I'm just putting on my clamping boards. Those are just put over carriage bolts, and then I tighten those down with wing nuts. And this is when I actually square up the flag. I'm ripping it down right now to 9.5 by 18. This is obviously when I take off the extra on the union. I just found it's a lot easier to do that instead of squaring that up and then cutting the backer board. It's just easier to put it all together, square everything up at the exact same time on the table saw. These are just scrap 1x6s that I'm ripping down to 1 3/4 inch, and then I cut the sides at 9.5 and then the top and bottom at 19.5. I do clamp the frame tight against the flag before I run 1 1/4 inch brads from the top and bottom into the sides of the frame. But at this point, I'm not putting any brads into the flag itself yet. I wanted this frame to look like it was repurposed wood, so I just grabbed some a bolt, some nails, and some different things just to mar the wood up, make it look like it's been used. Then I'm just gonna stain it and get it put on the flag. Here I just wipe my bench down real quick just to make sure there's no wet stain left behind before I lay the flag down, because I don't want any stain to get on the back where the glue on is. Then I just slip my frame over the top of the flag, press it down and make sure it's flat. The flag stain was just a little bit wet right here. I didn't want to get it all over my fingerprints or my fingertips, so I didn't want to spread it around. I do use Hellsman Spar urethane on all my flags, interior, exterior. I think it just leaves a good finish. And that's just where I'm showing where I put 2 1 1/4 inch brads on each end of the flag to hold it into the frame. I do use the sawtooth picture hangers, and I will link those in the description as well. Here is the flag after 1 coat of urethane. I will let this dry, sand it, and then I'll hit it with probably just 1 more coat. Okay, you guys have already seen this at the beginning of this video, but this is what it looks like finished. They turn out real nice. Like I said, I wanted this to kind of look like it was repurposed wood, but I'm pretty happy with the way this one turned out. So good luck on yours, and send me some pictures.